Harald, what is the Correspondent and why did you start it?
The Correspondent is an online journalism platform for unbreaking news. So to get beyond the daily news grind and understand really how the world works. I'm involved as the creative director, co-founder, to help it start and to help give it a head start in online. So my background is really as a digital designer. I'm the founder of Momkai, a creative agency in Amsterdam, and we really help to get projects from 0 to 1. So to help, give birth to an idea.
And what was your interest as a designer in journalism?
So my interest into journalism was always as a reader. I wasn't involved, before the Correspondent, I wasn't involved in journalistic projects. And I met Rob Wijnberg, the founder of the Correspondent, who was previously at a large newspaper, was fired for having to, in my opinion, more progressive ideas on where journalism should go. So he had very innovative ideas. And I think the role of a designer is really to help shape ideas, help shape the environment. And hearing him talk really triggered with me both as a designer, thinking one of these ideas, I think that creating the right environment, creating the right brand, really creating holistically can really help get this idea into a fruitful enterprise. And on the other hand, as a consumer of news, I was fed up with how online the idea was often, we go back in time, this is 2012, 2013 that we started it. The idea was really that news should be quick, should be, people don't read online, they are ignorant fools that are not interested in the world, which is of course a really weird idea. So we thought, if to do this differently, we have to create something that is not so dependent on ads, so it's completely ad-free, which as a designer is also very pleasant because it's a much more fun experience to watch, and that we really build it from the ground on up, and that we
together with Rob,
yeah.
So the journalist and the designer.
Exactly.
What was the extra, do you think, of that collaboration?
Wow, first and foremost, I think in any kind of project that you start, it's the people. So people believing in an idea and people seeing the potential of an idea. So really, how do you get to that from 0 to 1? And someone like Rob is a philosopher, he had a really a great feeling of what was happening at the time and how you can create something different, a different kind of news story. And the difference, I think, for the Correspondent is really that it's not only behind the scenes, but also the concept itself is really focused on people. Where before the journalist was asked to cover any kind of subject, here the premise is that a Correspondent has her or his obsession, something that they really care about, like economics or healthcare or forgotten wars, and that you give that person all the freedom to create the stories that they think is important. And what we ask of them is to share their learning curve. And I think the big difference for a lot of journalists that started at the Correspondent is that you have a very different relationship with your audience. So we see our audience as an untapped source of knowledge and really try to get the best out of them and see them as experts. So one Correspondent healthcare knows way less than 300 doctors on the platform.
So that it's also the interaction with the audience.
Yeah, I think very much so. The community is very important. With Momkai, the kind of projects that we design, we learned through collaborating with New York University and Professor Jay Rosen, who was also involved later at the Correspondent, and we had contact with him also before we started the crowdfunding. He was really inspirational to us on what he called in an essay the people formerly known as the audience. This different kind of interaction, this untapped source of knowledge. And with Momkai we started to design in that kind of frame, which we over time learned more about together with NYU to call it memberful. So how can we create a meaningful membership experience?
Now you're 8 years on. Are you satisfied?
8 years, if you say it like it's. I think there's always room for improvement. There are always things that you can do.
Where is there room for improvement?
So always behind the scenes, you can be more structured, be more healthy. Before what the consumer sees, you can do more with video. You can be more on point on social. So, but something like video, certain routes of video can be really expensive. Other routes you really have to own, do it right, or rather not do it. We are doing a lot of exploration there, or the team at the Correspondent, the journalists are doing a lot of exploration with audio. Just built a audio recording studio. So here we are at Momkai, my design agency, but the Correspondent is downstairs on the first floor, and there we have now an audio recording studio. So to give more freedom to the journalists and also see that there's potential in the story on different levels. So you can tell the story really shortly in video, you can do a podcast about it, you can do a long essay about it, and those things are not exclusive to each other. So to really grasp that potential. And sometimes you also have to share or tell a journalist, it's not a bad thing to repeat the insight that you had, because those are different audiences that you cater to.